what we got here then? This is a Mastercraft snare drum, Superstar, 14 by 8. Super maple finish, but what's really rare about this drum is the split lugs. It's not common at all. In fact, I think it's uncatalogued. As you can tell, it's had a really tough paper round. You can see all the hardware's pitted, there's rust everywhere, most of the hardware's bent. It's going to take a lot to bring this back. The muffler's missing, there's some different lugs on it. It needs a lot of work. Also, the shell is covered in scratches and bumps. So what I want to do with this is make a series of videos mainly to change the finish. I want to change it to an Aqua Marine finish so it'll match my Superstar kit. In terms of the hardware, since the 50th anniversary reissues, getting parts is relatively easy. I've got strainers here, I've got replacement rollers and butt plates. I've got to find some hoops, but I'm sure some will turn up. The thing I like about this, I do love the look of these Imperial Star lugs. The only trouble is they're notoriously fragile, and when you take them off, the post can break. So I need to get it apart and have a look at the condition and decide what I'm going to do with them. But for now, I'll get it stripped apart and we'll have a look at what the condition is inside. Look at the state of the tension rods. I'm not entirely convinced these are even Tama. I think these are generic ones, so we'll probably have to look against some replacements. There's a close-up of the hoop. That is too far gone. I mean, I might try and clean up a bit, but stuff like this, obviously, I love a snare drum with black hardware. I think they do look amazing. This is the kind of drum you want to use for donor parts. So this is the kind of thing you could blast and get powder coated black. So I'll definitely keep hold of them. Good God. The state of it in here. I thought the badge had been taken off for a second, but you can see the grommet in there, look. God knows what this is. The inside of the shell looks okay though. Lots of rust, lots of pitting. There's a diagonal shell, so it's not a Mega 8. It's definitely a Superstar. And what's that we've got there? 6625. Yeah. I don't know if you can see this from there. Can you see how bent that hoop is? It's obviously been pulled in from where the wires are. That'll need straightening. And again, I'll try and replace it, and this would be a perfect candidate to turn black, but God almighty, state of it. So this original roller, it is all over the place. Look how bent it is. It's rusted, it's pretty naffed. I mean, it'll probably clean up. I could straighten it and I'll keep it as a spare or something, but it has had a tough old life, this drum, for sure. Look in there, it's got its own ecosystem. It might clean up though, to be fair. The pitting on that's probably too far gone. So here we have a Grand Star lug, and I have no idea what that is. It might be some sort of Imperial Star, or oh, Christ knows. The good news is, at least I haven't drilled any holes for the lugs. Fairly mint Grand Star lug. So the screws are really pitted. I just want to have a look at the condition of the lugs, and I'll have a look at these. Once I've got it stripped apart, we'll have a look at the lugs and see what we think. That crap. You stained my bloody worktop. So that's the shell apart. You can see how much it's faded over time. The interior looks okay. There's a lot of rust spots and stains in the shell. And I'd have to rub it back to get past the varnish to have any chance of staining it. For the Aqua Marine, you have to stain the finish and then lacquer over the top. So it's a really involved project. The thing is though, as rare as this drum is, it was for sale a long time and no one took it. And if someone wanted it this bad in this colour, I think they would have. So I'm not going to feel too guilty about changing it. Okay, I just want to quickly have a look at the lugs. These are the Imperial style lug, and the castings go back to the late 70s. They did them on the first run of Superstars and Imperial Stars, and they run all the way through the 80s, and they did change the castings. I think the older ones were thicker, but there must be 3 versions of them. And this version here, I would say is probably the 80s version. Now what's the problem is, the posts are notorious for splitting, so when you take the screws out, it takes half the post with them, and you can see how thin they are. But the actual lug design, the hilt of the lug up here is connected to the post, and the supports are right underneath the post, so it's actually quite strong. Similar to the Grand Star, the reason I love these ones is the hilt is definitely attached to the post, and they've got these massive beefy supports underneath. So you'll do well to pull that insert out. The bow tie version is a completely different design where the post is further down and unsupported, and they're terrible. They'll break easily. But these lugs are actually perfect for snares. You could really crank them, and I don't think you're going to cause any issues. I don't think these are going to be any different. So the only problem with them is they're really pitted, so I'd need to find some good condition ones. So I'll keep my eye out for them. And out of a matter of interest, I whipped one off my 50th anniversary Aqua kit, and obviously the chrome's perfect, but it looks like they've used the same casting. So again, I'm not too concerned about strength if I was to find some new ones like these, but I think they'll be perfectly strong enough to withstand the crank of a snare drum. And this is what I'm looking to achieve, this sort of colour. I mean, I just love that interior, but you can see it's just a stained finish, and the outside's probably the same with the lacquer over the top. So I'll have to rub this back and try and figure out the colour. So there'll be a lot of testing involved, but it's gonna be really exciting. So next up, I'll start work on the shell. I'll clean it up to start with, and I'll start getting me thoughts together on how to get the finish right. I'll have to, like I was saying, I have to find some birch and do some test pieces and figure out if I can actually get a match for the Aqua Marine, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Other than that, the garage is full of drums. I'm still tirelessly working away at D-Larsifying the Star Classic. The 18's done, the 14's done, and the 22's done. Grand Stars. I've never seen a 20-inch Grand Star in the flesh, and lo and behold, I've got one there and one in here, which is pretty cool. This needs wrapping and restoring. I've got some restoring to do on this stand. I do have a lot of time off over Christmas, so I'm hoping to really get a lot of this out of the way and finished. So there should be lots of videos up and coming. And look, loads of Tama goodness here, look. Oh, and I recently found this as well. An original muffler for the snare. So in terms of hardware, we are getting somewhere. Anyway, stay tuned.